There are two groups of people, those who love the song and those who hate it, and eventually love it. I'm one of those who used to not like One, but one day I found myself addicted to it. And if you're one of us, you should give the song one more shot, because it's really wonderful. Hi friends, it's Andriy Vasilenko, and today we are hopefully starting a new series, which you have been requesting for a long time. Analyzing rock songs, seeking curious things that you might have not noticed, known or cared about. It will include small, easy to digest portions of music theory and curious composing tricks that might help you in writing your own music. And the series opener is a song that had blurred the line between seemingly unmixable things, thrash metal and power ballads. There are two eras of thrash metal, before and after Injustice for All album, which was led to the masses by the first real single of Metallica. Nobody prior to it would have made such opposite characters meet in a composition. It tricks an uninformed listener to thinking that it's good for a slow dance, but then just crushes your skull. And this is how many of those fooled people may have turned metalheads back in 1988. Alright. The main riff is built on just two chords, B minor and G major, with an extension to A major and fleeting inclusions of E and F sharp. And you can find this progression in many songs. For example, if in A minor it's... James said that he had been fiddling around this, as he called, modulation for a long time. So it's quite possible that Cliff might have heard him do it. And the reason why this BG thing attracted James could be that B minor is particularly good for composing on the guitar. 5 out of 7 notes of this tonality are open strings. Yeah, both E's. And in the case of B minor, you can go down from the lowest root. Lowest root is here, B. You can get a lower B on the guitar in this tuning. So down. Which is not possible, for example, in E minor. The lowest E is here. You cannot go lower. So this progression in E minor would look E minor and C major. Not that feeling. And this feature of B minor could guide James in the process of shaping the riff. Open string? Yeah. Alright, I can use open A. If you ask me, there's nothing ever so astonishing in the riff in comparison to, say, The Unforgiven or The Day That Never Comes. But does it really need that? The beauty of it may lie in its restraint and dryness. It does not say much, but invites you to tune in for the story, which is going to be unfolding and escalating. And this sort of phrasing fits the overall notion of the Justice album. Compound time signatures, variations, and going a little crazy in everything in general. These are things that could have not worked in the context of the other Metallica albums. Among the other things that make catchy for the cost of some smoothness are these bits. This goes against what Hetfield usually does in his clean riffs. I mean the arpeggiating and hammer-ons and pull-offs and these things. And the demo version indeed features a hammer-on instead. As for me, the two versions sound like pencils with a sharpened and rounded tips, each good for its own purpose. And in this case, Metallica might have decided that serves the song better. The bridge, in contrast with the main riff, is more embellished and cheerful, but despite of that, it's one of the most underrated Metallica riffs. Even cameramen rarely film James when he's playing it live. Instead, they almost always shoot Kirk or, for some reason, Lars. Most of Metallica songs are made of standalone riffs that are written separately. They are like musical Frankensteins. And the true art lies in hiding the joints and stitches. The bridge could be naturally ended with a D major chord at the end. But they needed to go back to the main riff, which is in B minor. This is a parallel key, but still you should find a way to connect them naturally. And so James added a medium note. This C note creates some sort of instability, and it swings between the root notes. And it's up to you to resolve it, to be or not to be. To D. If it's C sharp, it gravitates more to D. And this is how they go from the chorus to the bridge. While C pushes you to the opposite direction. On stage though, James does not play this note at all, and he simply hits the dead note. Which works too. It may shock you, but does not have a fully functional chorus. The section with Hold My Breath as I Wish for This serves as such, but it's too short and has no peak, no climax, so it's rather a heavy extra bridge. In the demo version though, these power chords are played without distortion. The heavy interlude, as I call it, is a transition between the ballady and thrashy part of the song, or section A and section B. Without it, without this link, the song's flow would be too abrupt, like a waterfall instead of a series of locks. And it's a treasure for an aspiring composer. The chord progression here is but wait, A minor in a B minor song? This must sound weird and unnatural, but somehow doesn't. So what's the trick? The previous section was the chorus, the third extended chorus, and it consists of fleeting chords, including a major. But since most of the action happens via power chords, which are lacking a triad to firmly sound either majory or minory, like. And Metallica took advantage on it to smuggle A minor instead of A major. In the very last repeat of the chorus, they got it on A. And they use this ending chord as some kind of a wormhole or a portal to another tonality. It's actually bouncing between B minor, E minor, and A minor. But it fully switches to A minor in the chuggy part. And with that, the interlude has done its job. And now listen to this. Did you recognize it? Yes. And no, this is not the interlude from To Live Is To Die, but my variation on the interlude from
1
is just in E minor instead of A minor. But Cliff is not mentioned among the writers of the song. Both songs are written approximately the same time, and the very chords are used in their middle sections with the same rhythm and tempo. And I can't recall another Metallica song with these chords. Although I'm not saying that Metallica just copy-pasted without giving Cliff a songwriting credit. James could be bearing the leak in the mind while working on multiple songs together, and it might have conceived the riff, which ended up being the middle section of the song we are talking about. Another glorious thing of the heavy interlude is layering. In fact, we still don't know how many parts are there. I've come across tabs with 3, 4 or even 6 layers. Usually Metallica do just a pair of harmonies and a rhythm beneath, except for a few intros, such as Battery, Blackened, That Was Just Your Life, but never amidst a song. By the way, subscribe to Ben Ayler, Uncle Ben's channel. He might do a breakdown of this section. He have done some excellent breakdowns of the most complex Metallica riffs. So yeah, go check him out and say hi friend to Ben from me. You instantly knew what is it, even without the notes, just with the percussive essence. This is the machine gun riff. And I won't talk about it much. It seems like a lot of people are eager to jump straight to it. Like if the whole part before does not interest them at all. And here's what I want to say about the machine gun riff. Things you might have not known or noticed. Usually Metallica, especially now, just glue riffs together like bricks. Riff B starts when riff A ends. But what if to hint on an upcoming thing earlier to make it even sweeter? You actually can hear the double drum bass riff before the section B, in the 2 last repeats of the heavy interlude. It makes you feel like some serious shit is coming. This is called foreshadowing, and it's widely used in cinematography and literature, and it does work in music, as you see. And a few words about the bass part. Layering bass arrangement in a power ballad. And for those who don't know how to play the riff with fingers and bass, I played with 3 fingers, in fact, the original script was almost twice as big, but I had to cut it in order to make the video happen and survive making it. For example, I had to give up the entire section about the harmony and the solo. The raw materials are available on my Patreon, so join me there, and I'm endlessly thankful to my patrons who are making these videos possible, actually. Thanks for watching, it's Andriy Vasilenko. Be in metal!